All yours. Oh, is Eileen coming?
10:56.
Oh,
If you want one. Wow, what is it? Kids are replacing their break starting season.
Mary is online here.
Mary.
Mary, did you admit her? Yeah, okay. You're good, she's here. You didn't ask to unmute.
I'll pick this in much. Okay.
Well, Mary, are you here with us?
Here.
Okay,
Last name?
your last name? Mary, can you state your name, please?
Absolutely. Ceccanelli, Mary Ceccanelli.
Oh,
Hi, Mary.
Why didn't you decide?
did you know?
Jeez Louise.
I can find him anywhere.
Okay, so we're gonna call the meeting to order. Follow the agenda. I wrote it.
Sarah, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, I will. But first, I think I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I can't make a motion.
I know you
I'm-
can't. And a second? A second. Oh, excellent. So, Taylor, would you like to tell us a little? Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes pass. Would you like to tell us a few things about you as our new member?
Sure. I'm Taylor Dexter and I am from Marshfield. And I work at Hooker Wickham Funeral Home and help with a lot of graveside services and stuff. And also have worked at a few different granite sheds in town as well.
And you came to have your interest, Heather, through Heather. kind of
Yes.
Heather.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot over the years and we have had an open seat
Yep.
on the committee, and I thought, let's, if she said she had a flexible schedule and she has an interest in making sure that our cemeteries and our community are well represented, so preserve those public places.
Yeah, did you grow up in Barre?
No, I grew up in Marshfield.
In Marshfield, okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We need some new blood, literally new
Yeah.
blood. Okay, so I guess the next thing we'll do is we have to have our annual election. And I'm going to cede the meeting to the vice chair.
So I'm going to ask for nominations for Star to continue on as chair of the cemetery committee.
I'd like to make a motion that Star continue as the chairperson of the cemetery committee.
Okay.
And I'll second it.
Are there, I'll say yay that agree.
Are there any other nominations?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what are there any other nominations
The
for?
nominations are closed.
That's why you're here. Okay,
So if there are no other nominations, then we can vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. How many ayes did we get?
enough to be I think, quorum, I think.
Silence is consent.
So
Just for
then,
so you have no nays, so it was a unanimous vote.
okay,
Yes,
congratulations, Star.
thank you.
The first time in years you said that.
Okay, so I'll take back the meeting, thank you.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna look for nominations for the vice chair.
I'd love to.
Second,
I would like to nominate Heather for vice chairman of the cemetery committee.
I'll second. Okay. All there, those in favor? Oh, actually, wait, I did the same thing. Any other nominations? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, now for the secretary. Now, can the chair, or the vice chair nominate people for that, or we?
They can.
Oh, we can.
Yeah, you're a member.
Okay, so I'm gonna nominate Elaine to continue as the scribe.
No, second.
Okay. You're doing great. You're doing as good as I do. That's about it. All in favor? Or, excuse me, any other nominations? No one chomping at the bit to write the notes? Just kidding. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The nomination is unanimous. Okay. So we're gonna start with the Director's Business Report on fiscal year 2026. You didn't call me and ask me what this was, so I'm gonna assume you know. You don't.
No.
Okay. So it's a new year. So we're gonna try to do things a little differently than last year. So in the future, and this goes for anybody that gets the agenda. If there's something on the agenda that you don't understand, or send me an email, call me on the phone, okay? And I thought you would call me because I thought you would wonder what it was, because we've talked about this over the last year. We used to get a report every month on the comings and goings and income, everything that went on with the cemetery. And this past year was a different thing. I think you're probably coming into it now. We'll get to where you are with your staffing, because I know Donnie was doing a lot of it. But we used to get a monthly report. At the end of the year, excuse me, at the end of the year, we would get a report on how many lots were sold, how much money was brought in, that type of the financials of the cemetery. We got that every year, the first meeting of the new year. Okay? So
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, going forward, if something directly, in this case, says Director's Business Report, okay? If you don't know what it is, you call me and I'll tell you. Because there are things that I think there's a general feeling we should reestablish. And one of them is you telling us what's going on in the cemetery every month. And I think there's a consensus on this, right? We've had conversations about this. We don't need a motion or anything like that. We just need a common understanding. So that being said, you have any idea how many lots we sold or anything?
We sold one last week.
Okay,
That,
well,
like that
you-
was fireside.
I think there were two,
Well, it's two, that's right. We sold two.
wasn't yours actually
Actually-
three?
three.
It's
gonna say you
it's a
sold
three
four.
big lot, but still one lot.
No, I bought one for the family and then I went to city council for another. So actually I purchased two within the last month.
Okay,
I did just sign that one.
okay, so, well, I guess we're ahead of the game, but okay, so going forward, is that at least clear? And we can talk about what we want to know. It doesn't need to be an hour, obviously. It just needs to be, well, this is what we're doing, you know? Like, I guess you had some horrible tree fall down in Elmwood that I've become aware of because of the Elmwood project with the veterans. So things like that. We like to know things like that. Because actually, believe it or not, when people find out you're on the committee, they ask you questions. So you like to know what's going on. It's just part of the game.
So would it help?
Go ahead.
Star to have a kind of a format? In other words, instead of tell us what's going on in the cemetery,
Yeah,
you know, if you ask me what's going on in the city,
be tough.
okay, I may give you a lot of information that you really don't want and don't need.
Yeah.
So if you could focus on things like staffing levels, you know, that's always
Yeah.
important. So if you could have a bullet list, I think it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Most of this stuff, Tom, you could probably do,
Without thinking
you
about
know,
it. Yeah.
yeah, you could probably do in half an hour. before the agenda goes out. So, finances, lot sales, finances, staffing level, maintenance projects. Really, what else is it?
Yeah, and
This
you
is
know what,
something that I've
I
missed.
think that's excellent idea. Did you get that? And also, if anybody post meeting has a specific interest if we want to develop this short bullet list for him to just say every month, this is what we did. This is what's going on, so he doesn't, I would also add that if somebody's
Yeah, and
interested.
finances, you could just get the business manager to rip off a monthly report. For the previous, remember, she's always going to be, probably 20 days. In other words, she can't really produce the June report until about the 20th of July. By the time everything comes in and shakes out. So you're always going to have a little bit of a lag time, but
We're always the third Monday. Or maybe it'll work, but
Yeah.
listen,
it could work. You
It's
might
gotta
get,
work
you might
better.
get the previous month, or you might be a month behind, but you'll always get the
Something.
same consistent
report.
financial report.
Okay, and who is the business manager?
Now, I still say it's Don, but it's not. It's
Christina.
Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
What about,
Mhm.
condition issues, like you were saying, the tree
Mm-hmm.
that fell, and that would be something we'd be interested in. like
Yeah, and that would probably be under maintenance.
Damage to a,
Yeah.
stone or
Yeah,
something.
good.
Pretty big tree.
Yeah, it was a
Pretty-
big tree. They sent me it's cleaned up.
It did, I guess apparently
Elmwood?
It
Is
was
that
up in
just-
Elmwood.
did a lot more damage to some of the veterans
No, no.
monuments that we're gonna be addressing. The veterans are looking to give us some money for the Revolutionary War deal. All right, so cemetery staffing update.
Actually, can I?
Oh,
speak to
absolutely.
This a little bit, as past chair,
Mhm.
I never sent an agenda without the director's approval. It's like we went through it
Okay,
and agenda item by agenda item, what was going to happen. So no one was caught flat-footed. The director knew what was going on and the chair knew what was going on. Jeff would give me information that he wanted to talk about. I would put it on the agenda. So
okay,
probably a meeting with the director before the agenda goes out would probably work best.
okay. Yeah, good suggestion. Tom? Yeah, we're fine. Yep. It was never my intention to catch somebody off guard. Because I felt, wrongly or rightly, if you have a question about this, I always send them out pretty far in advance. This one was less because I wanted to see what happened at the city council meeting. So that's why this was on Wednesday, but I generally am always, as you've noticed maybe, send them out on Monday with plenty of time for some interplay. But I don't think that's a bad suggestion. Oh. All right, cemetery staffing update.
Joel Carminati's taking over as the foreman up there.
Oh, okay. Joel or Joe?
Joel.
Joel, okay.
So it makes me like one of the worst managers ever because I'm stealing from myself to fill the
Oh.
position. Yeah. He worked there 2 years before he came down here to maintenance. So he's very familiar with the cemetery operations. And with the city.
That's good. Are you backfilling his position?
Yep, that's my next one.
Tash?
Yeah.
So has he already started?
He will start on the 17th of August.
Oh, okay. And in the interim, what is it, Pierre? Probably,
It's
or a combination?
between Brandon and Pierre,
Mm-hmm,
myself.
mm-hmm,
I stop up every morning. And
okay,
we've got a pretty good schedule now. Of where we're mowing, when we're mowing, how long it takes to do each area.
He'll start the 17th.
of August,
In
right?
August.
Yeah. And he's gonna be on vacation the week of the 10th. So I'm not gonna start him and have him gone for a week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you talked to Donnie at all since he left?
I texted him once and he never got back to me, so I'm thinking he's done.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
You
like,
think he
I'm
would
done.
change his number even? Some people
He told
change-
me his number wasn't gonna work anymore.
Yeah.
He was getting rid of it.
I had the city cell phone for his phone number.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well, that's good news. Okay, so Giuliano, you're up.
Well, I mean, people have seen the council meeting, they've read the article. If you have any questions,
Well, what about the packet that you did for the city council with the pictures that you did of what you want to do? I assume there was pictures in there.
That was part, I mean, if you want to look at those, if you go to the city council agenda,
Mm-hmm.
we have a big packet that goes out. It's available to the public. So if you go to, mayor and council and you click on last week's agenda,
Yeah,
it's gonna have a briefing on everything we talk about. And I think that included your packet. So didn't bring a copy with me because I've seen it, didn't realize that, but if any of
you
the,
should bring a copy with, just out of interest.
because exactly what the mayor said, it's available to everyone. You gave information to the committee, and you didn't contact me. So-
Gave information to the committee about what?
About what?
Well, where to watch the city council meeting.
But you know, the interesting thing about the city council, of course, I was behind you, so I couldn't, but it wasn't really. Too much wasn't really said or about, you didn't even say in the city council that you were gonna think about the planner idea. Tom mentioned that to me a little earlier, but you didn't mention that in the council, so,
It's in the packet that I provided.
but we didn't have the
Yeah,
packet.
actually, Starry did.
Said you were gonna make a
Yeah,
planner?
because we talked, part of the conversation that I recall was Giuliano explained that there wouldn't be water. There is no water to the fountain.
Right,
So he explained that it was going to be used as a planter. And if we ever wanted to restore the water, that the fountain could be made fully functional. In other words, there's nothing that he's proposing that would preclude it from being a
coming to found
fountain.
again.
Once again, if we ever decided we wanted to go in that direction, that's what I recall hearing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You realize now, I think, maybe not then, I don't think. We were actually, the three of us were there.
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
support of him. We really didn't know anything about what Giuliano was
I
proposing.
was
Yeah.
really there just to support Taylor.
And she was there.
Word, that's the
And-
reason I showed
I
up.
know, I think you
I thought
did.
So before this gets even more awkward, so we get that, which is why the council said, I like to keep things moving along. So we said, look, here's what the city will do for you. It will, if you're gonna actually restore the fountain, we're gonna charge you a reduced price, and that reduced price was based on the percentage of lot sales that goes into perpetual care. So Giuliano would pay a price that is reduced, but he would pay for the perpetual care because that covers, everyone's lot. What the council also said is we wanted to see it come back to the cemetery committee to make it, we wanted this to happen. We wanted the cemetery committee to have an opportunity to say, okay, we'll talk to Giuliano about it. We'll have him explain his plans, what he plans on doing. And if there's any objection, if the cemetery committee comes away from this discussion saying, this is a shitty idea, this is a bad idea, then you need to let the council know.
So when is the discussion? You just heard me ask him.
Mhm.
When is the discussion gonna happen with Giuliano?
It's happening right now.
Today.
Okay.
I don't
Right
think
here.
this is a bad idea. I'm actually
No.
pretty happy that it's moving forward with the plans that you proposed. I think it's a great idea. I think it's doing the community a great service. I think that where some of the weird vibe comes from is that there was opportunity for you to bring it to the cemetery committee before you brought it to city
It
council.
wasn't.
There was.
We had minutes and a meeting, like you knew that we were going to, we had made plans and.
Okay. So this happened completely out of the blue, all right? I purchased a family lot. Donnie made all the paperwork and we were talking.
Mhm.
And the discussion came about the fountain. Donnie said it would be a terrible waste to have it torn down. And I said, why don't you sell it to me? And he's like, that's a great idea. But I need to talk to my boss.
Yeah.
So he left himself a note for the next day to call Tom. He called Tom. Tom called the city manager. The city manager thought it was a great idea. Tom thought it was a great idea. I met with the city manager and said, do you want me to bring this back to the committee? He said, no, this is the prerogative of the council.
Okay, so
I bumped
Nicholas
into-
said to do that.
Yes, I bumped into Tom at the grocery store. I ran this by him. The first thing he said about demolishing the fountain, that's not gonna happen. And then I proposed the idea of my plan, and he knew that it was on the agenda. So that's how it came about. So there was no sneaking, I was thinking about this, it happened organically, and that was the process.
I'm really happy to hear that. It settles a lot of the reservations that I had about how the manner and the direction that it took. I think we maybe made some assumptions about
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah, and I'll just confirm what Giuliano said after the council meeting. You know, when things get put on the agenda and we approve the agenda, I don't often go back to the manager and say, strike this. I thought it was weird after the council meeting. I asked Nicholas, why didn't this originate with the cemetery committee? And in his mind, he said, because the cemetery committee can't sell city property. Only, it's like, well, Nicholas,
get that.
I get that, but it could have, and he acknowledged that maybe it should have. Because I said, Nicholas, I get that, but we bring things to the committee of jurisdiction all the time to give them the opportunity, you know, to weigh in on it. And if they think it's a great idea, super, it comes to the council with their endorsement. And if they think it's a poor idea for whatever reason that the council may not think of, we get that as well. So he acknowledged that it happened awkwardly, but none of it was nefarious or an attempt to sidestep the committee. And Giuliano had no objection when I said, well, listen, not to slow the process down, we're okay with this, but get it back in front of the committee and just give them the opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah, we
So
just had to
that's what
shift our
this is.
focus
So
from finding
my
a
understanding is
contractor
that
to
you'll be
demolish.
he'll be restoring the fountain. Interestingly, you're going to be responsible for the maintenance of the fountain, just like, you know, we have perpetual care. We wash things in the cemetery, but if, you know, I'm not sure what happens, Tom, when a tree on Elmwood happens to land on a monument and knock it over. I think that's our responsibility
I
to
think that's ours.
put it back. But if a monument just deteriorates or vandals destroy it, that's not the city's responsibility. So if something, you know, so by putting the money in perpetual care, the fountain will be, you know, it'll be cleaned like all of the other stones are, but you know, in terms of maintenance, there'll be nothing beyond that. So my understanding is you'll put the centerpiece back. You're going to carve a new centerpiece that is gone now. It's been gone. Was it stolen? Well, it's gone. Whatever the original, was it fish?
It's four sturgeons,
It was a
the
sturgeon.
dolphins, sturgeons, whatever you kind of.
Yeah.
Interpreted.
Yeah, but that's gone now. So my understanding is that Giuliano's you're going to restore the fountain itself. That'll likely be some sort of Portland concrete type material. Is it epoxy? How are you gonna do that?
No, it'd be granite.
Oh, okay, it'll be granite. And then you'll put the original centerpiece back. That will be granite.
Oh, no. So the fountain itself will be sandblasted. All the paint will be sandblasted off. The epoxy paint, the pool paint, will be applied around the outside and inside to protect
Gotcha.
it. And then the fountain head will be granite.
And then the fountainhead is granite. And for now, it's going to be a planter because, you know, there is no water there currently. And even if you brought water to it, you've got to have a way to take water away from it. It's not as simple as, you know, just stagnant water, which has a tendency to turn green, as our president knows.
I
Yeah.
think, I think for me at least, it just felt very disrespectful to the committee to just suddenly have it in front of the city council, even though understanding now the way it happened organically. Was there a deadline that you had to get it done before this meeting? Or I just think with all the conversations we've had about the fountain, it would have seemed appropriate that you would have at least have run it by us. I just felt, and I'm the newest member.
Well,
No,
no,
you're not.
now
Nope.
you're senior.
Thank you, Kevin. But I just felt kind of, and watching the meeting and everything, I just felt like an ambush kind of thing.
You can absolutely feel that way,
Oh, I know.
but that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
No,
Nicholas
Star,
made
so
that call.
but that's
So
the
when you're-
perception.
I
when
get
your
it.
family,
Yeah.
I get it. Nicholas made that call.
Yeah,
If I had been consulted, I would have made a different call. Nicholas, listen, he was a good city manager, made a lot of good decisions, and I'm gonna miss working with him.
mhm,
But there are times where he didn't always defer to committees.
yeah,
And I would remind him on more than one occasion that, Nicholas, this is the committee of jurisdiction. Folks are volunteering their time. And even if it's what you think is an easy call, you always got to give them the opportunity to weigh in. They're the committee of jurisdiction. And, he didn't always do that. Nicholas didn't have an issue with making decisions. And I like that. I tend to roll the same way, but I also have a bit of a history in the center seat. So I appreciate all of our committees. So, this is your chance to ask questions. If
Yeah.
there's something that, hey, you don't like about the project, or you think it should have been, you think it should have been handled differently in terms of whether we put an RFP out or.
yeah. I think everybody knowing now what it is you intend to do or having an idea, I think that it's just a lot more positive with the information and the knowledge than it is with the way it happened. And, being able to ask questions about it and everything is great. And I do have a question about the design itself or what you end up actually doing. Is there, because you'll own it, is there any oversight, or do you have to consult regarding the design or anything like that? Or is it just independently designed and created?
yes and yes. So it's going to be exactly the way the original fountain was. I do have design over it. I mean, I can alter it a little bit. It's no different than purchasing your own lot and making your own monument.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody here has come to the cemetery committee with their monument design.
Right.
So is that something new? Are we going to ask people to bring their monument designs to the cemetery committee?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so. But this is a little different, I think, than.
sure, it's a little different and it happened a little
quite-
different.
Do you
It's
think
central.
of it as a monument? Is that where you're not gonna be buried there, right?
No, that's why I
Okay.
purchased the previous lot.
Yeah.
Right. So is it a monument or is it something different? Is it more like what Mr. Cozy's was, the house is not really a monument?
No,
right?
it's repairing what was there. It's not demolishing it.
Yeah,
It's not the committee deciding we're gonna demolish it. Did you put this out to the members of the community? You, as a committee, just decided that this was gonna happen.
Mhm.
So maybe shame on you for not going to the community and saying that this was going to happen, getting some feedback. So
This is why
We've
we
been
have a
talking about
committee.
it for years, and when we voted on it in the meeting, Tom pretty clearly stated that if anything contractually comes in under $5,000, then we don't have to bring it, he doesn't have to bring that to city council.
it's not about money.
Oh, to tear it down?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
subtle differences in governance.
Mhm.
If we tear something down, we're not selling it. we're tearing it down.
Right.
You're 100% correct. If the contract was more than $5,000 to remove it,
Yeah.
that would have had to come to the council.
Mhm.
However, this wasn't tearing it down. This was selling city property.
Right.
Selling the fountain intact.
Mhm.
And for that reason, that's why Nicholas said it has to come to the council.
Mhm.
That maybe there was a misstep on the committee's part.
But
you
you
know,
were
collective
present.
with Tom, that
You were
maybe
present.
in deciding to tear it down, it should have gone to city council to get.
No, because the contract, I don't think we even had a contract to tear
No,
down.
you,
So it's all hypothetical. Had the
Okay.
contract, if we had a contract
Mhm.
to tear it
Then
down,
we'd have
which
to
we
vote.
didn't, and it was over $5,000,
Mhm.
it would have come to the council.
Yeah.
If Tom got a quote for $4,500 2 months ago to take the fountain down,
Would have been a
it
done
would
deal.
probably be gone by now. We didn't have the RF, we don't
Right.
consider that in the operation of the cemetery. We didn't consider the demolition of the fountain to be a really high priority.
Mhm.
There were other things that we, like stone washing and things that we wanted to do
Yeah.
first. So,
And as far as.
personally, I think it's fortunate that Giuliano is stepping up and proposing to restore the fountain. I mean, that's the way it was presented to the city council.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it came, there was a packet that was presented to the city council. And while I would certainly agree, it's not the council's prerogative or intention to micromanage anyone. If all of a sudden, you had a granite flying pig that you were gonna put on top of the fountain, I'd say timeout. That is not what the council approved. The council, understanding there has to be some artistic license, what we approved was exactly as you said, a restoration of the fountain.
And I think there was opportunity, Giuliano, for you to come to the committee and voice your opposition to the vote that we took. I think there was opportunity for you to communicate with people that you felt firmly and strongly that it should not be torn down. And that would have created a whole nother conversation
Mhm.
and a whole nother vote if we thought we would have to have one. So I think that this really kind of just does boil down to communicating with us as a committee and seeing us as support and allies for things that you want to move forward.
Yeah, because you didn't have any problem telling Dave Delcor that it was totally unacceptable. And that, let me finish and then you can, and that is a very strong word. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm actually not even saying you're wrong, that you should have, with all your information, knowledge, and everything you've had, more in a helpful way said, wait a minute, do you think we should talk to the public and see what the public says about this? And then we can say yes or no, and maybe because we do listen to you when you decide to open your mouth in the meetings, we do listen to you.
That is unacceptable. This badgering,
It's not. Oh my God, Giuliano, come on. If anybody has badgered people in a committee meeting, I think you know somebody that has. Come on.
I think,
This is getting.
I know.
This is really getting, I understand how people feel. I guess it boils down, the question that it boils down to is, my understanding is that this is a restoration, and I understand there is some artistic license, but it boils down to, does the committee want the fountain to go away? Or do they want it to be restored? Which is preferable? Things don't always happen too smoothly.
Right.
Trust me, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And regardless, and Giuliano, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but Giuliano might have felt very strongly that, look, the committee made the wrong call. Okay, so if they made the wrong call, why can't I, as a private citizen, approach the city about restoring the fountain? Because, quite frankly, if the city had to restore the fountain, I would probably say no. If it was boiling down to, a city expense, I would probably say no.
Well, I would think that it's consensus here, that if Giuliano is going to restore it as close to as possible of what the original was, then there's no issue. Then
Right, that's
I think
not really the
everybody-
problem.
I think everybody's totally okay with that.
Mhm.
I'm curious as to what's gonna happen to Alcide Fantoni's world.
I'm sorry?
Alcide Fantoni's sculpture is in the middle of the fountain now, which I imagine
Is it still
you
there?
own it now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You own,
No,
so are
this
you
is,
going
this,
to,
the committee decided that it was going to be removed. So if it was demolished, it was still going to be removed and placed somewhere else. That is still the responsibility of the,
so you didn't buy that then, it still belongs to the city?
yes.
yeah,
Okay, so then we still have the responsibility.
yeah,
of
that was
moving it.
clear and I actually, that's one thing I was clear on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't clear on that.
We had to
And-
find another place for it.
And I can't remember now whether, what's something you said, but if there is a design, if you change the design of the centerpiece, because I didn't live here when it was there, so I don't know what it was. If you change that in any way and add something to it or make it bigger, and there's a question, because you asked about the question about the design of the piece, then I believe it is in the rules that it would have to go to Tom. And because he is the director of the cemetery, that he would make the decision. And if you had a question about it, then you would bring it to the cemetery, the design itself. Because there have been stones that have come to the committee that we have looked at in the past, not.
Not even the
Not-
last bar pat. Well, didn't we do Gary Sassy's?
It
No?
was, adjustment to the rules and regs
Yeah.
is what
Mhm.
the Sassy Monument was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like there was something, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, does
No.
everyone have internet access? I mean, if you want to see the design that came before the council, like I said, if you
Yeah,
go to
just look in,
last
yeah.
week's council packet, the entire packet is there.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
So you can see that.
yes.
Is there a time schedule so that we would have to know when we would have to remove Alcide's piece?
Good question.
There's no rush. I mean, please don't take a year to do it, but
Okay, within this year, we have.
What did he sculpt on that right now?
it's a
Wow.
globe with six fish. One or two were vandalized, so they were removed.
We're thinking about putting it in a fountain, not like a bird bath type fountain thing, weren't we? I don't know.
We could incorporate it into the other fountain
Oh,
somehow.
It's
not very
big.
big.
No, I know, but as an accent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
don't
don't
know.
think.
Let's look at.
So do you expect? I mean, you're here, present for the discussion. Do you expect anything from us as far as? You want a motion to accept his,
Well, I mean, it would be helpful to have something in writing.
want it writing?
It doesn't, I mean, if you want to vote it, you can certainly vote it. However you'd like to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with what I think everyone's on the same page. Is that it's not what he's doing. It isn't what he's doing. So however you think,
This is just for the purchase of the actual fountain, not any land.
No, it's a lot.
3 lots.
It's absolutely, it's right.
Well, I know where it
Here,
is.
yeah,
I know.
But it's actually a lot.
Okay, but I still don't understand. Is he gonna own the land that
Yes,
it sets on as
Yes.
well? Okay,
Kind of, Helen, honestly, in the same way that you own yours, that your family, it's a weird kind of use deed. It's not the same as your house deed.
I
It's a use
understand.
deed.
Oh, I
right?
understand
Okay, I just
that.
wanna,
but I wasn't clear whether it was just the actual fountain or the land surrounding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as Carol Dawes explained at the meeting,
yeah,
like Star said, this isn't this isn't your normal warranty deed.
No,
You buy a home.
no, I know.
So for that reason, Carol suggested, no, we need to turn it into lots and sell both.
So Juliana, this is going to remain in effect, a very lovely garden, a planter with
Yes.
flowers every
Oh, that's the other question, yeah. You gonna pay for the flowers?
Yes,
Okay, that's the other question.
you pay for your flowers, right?
Yeah, I got rid of them. I'm not the biggest fan of flowers, as you know, but yes, whatever.
Everything you would do to your lot is
Mhm,
what
you're
I
gonna
would
do to yours.
this.
Okay.
But there's no chance, I mean, this might sound like a silly question, that you would decide that you would rather have your monument in that very prominent space instead of in the family plot that you have already purchased.
I'm pleased with the lots I've purchased for Bear Hills. This is an accent for the cemetery. That's it. The only thing that may change is that it becomes a fountain again. It will have the plumbing for it. If solar fountains have a really good breakthrough where they're usable enough for something that size, that could happen. If Tom's idea pans out, then it could be done that way too. But as of right now, it's a planter.
What was Tom's idea? I missed that, I'm sorry.
We would, in our fountain committee meeting, we were discussing the fountain. I just threw out there, maybe we run a supply and return line.
Oh,
out
down
that-
there?
Out to that fountain and use the pump
Oh,
for the new fountain to run both of
Oh,
them.
I see. So, but it would be recycled
Yeah.
water, yeah.
You'd run a supply and then a return,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
would just cycle.
So two,
You know, you'd run two
in one
lines.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds efficient.
okay, so, I mean, I would think that if we are all in agreement, and I think we are all in agreement, that we don't have any problem with his plan. I would write the mayor an email and say that the committee met, discussed it at length and are in full approval of his plan for the fountain. If
Yeah,
that's what you
perfect.
want, that work for you?
That would be perfect.
Okay, does that work for everybody else? Okay. All right, so do we want to move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah,
Everybody friends?
everybody.
Okay, well, no, I mean, this isn't, listen, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and beat up on Nicholas, but we had a very similar incident up on Hilltop Avenue with a woman that we're allowing to use a city lot on Hilltop Avenue, and she grows tea. She has a business, she grows tea.
Oh,
Yeah.
And while I don't think Nicholas's decision was bad, they didn't talk to anybody in the neighborhood.
Right,
And-
I live in
and
that
it-
neighborhood and I just found
There
out
you,
about it.
there you
Cause I
go.
was thinking we
So
should do a community
you know,
garden or
this is
something.
exactly that situation.
Yeah.
There could have and should have been a better process, and there
Yeah.
wasn't. And, you know, so as I have to do up on Hilltop Avenue, as I'm doing with this, I do my best to walk it back.
Mhm.
And at least say that, so I can at least look at all of you and say, you had the opportunity. So thank you for this.
mhm. Well, thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on. Discussion of plan for stone cleaning on all three cemeteries, and I would just say. Also, then we got a plan, we got the money, and we got plans, we've been talking. To different contractors, Tom and I have been talking to them. I think we got a plan, and I think going forward, maybe for the next meeting, rather than tile. We'll have by then met with all of them, we've got some really good ones, figured out. Some different things. And I guess I would say, Tom's gonna jump in, but I would say to suffice, this is moving forward now with the money that we got on Tuesday. The contractors we got lined up. We're gonna clean some stones and do some maintenance. And it's gonna be more than we've been doing, so everything is moving in the right direction. So what do you think? Is that fair?
Yeah, and my thoughts on the matter is if this year. Clean as many stones as possible.
Mhm, okay.
That's where you're gonna get the most bang for our buck. That'll mean there'll still be some stones that are gonna need some maintenance, so some stones that have fallen over. But that we can do. Start into phasing into that like next year. But get as many stones clean. Right off the bat. I think we can clean what, 20 stones for the cost of resetting one
Yeah,
or
Mhm.
more.
yeah. I think too, oh, sorry.
How do you decide which stones you're going to do, in what order and
By
that kind of
second.
thing? So you do the whole section
We'll do
and
this,
then move on?
we'll break up the cemetery into sections, much like we do with Hope.
Yeah, see, Hope's are really the only one we have a
Hope's
plan. Now we're gonna have plans in the other ones.
the other two. And break it up and then just clean a section a year. And go around that way.
And you know, something came up in the Elmwood meeting with the veterans, and that's another thing, I don't think we'll even have time, is it, but that, you know, the real old ones from like the Revolutionary War, and like, I'm like, what are we gonna do about this? It's slate, God, blah, blah, blah. And what they said was, they were happy with, a marker, right? Like a granite marker, well, a marker with the person's name on it and the dates and like the war they were in. They weren't really looking for us to replicate this piece of slate that no longer even has a face, right? I mean, it was, they were happy with somebody just remembering the name of the person and where they were and where they're buried. So it made a difference to me, because I'm like, wow, for that, we know people who have granite. We can find some things on markers. So anyway, that's a thought.
Yeah, and, additionally, Star, Karen and I always donate to Flags for Veterans.
Yeah.
There are certain causes that, I think if the cemetery committee advertised that, we need to replace these markers, this is how we're doing it, and let people know, hey, Tom, Karen, if you want to purchase one, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah,
I think people would jump all over that.
yeah. I think we're gonna start to see a little more interest in the other cemeteries now that we can
Mhm.
start. So I think I think it's gonna all be good.
Cool.
Okay, so that's that, and we will more on that when we have our more solidified plan, hopefully by the next meeting. Cozy Fountain Subcommittee update.
We met this morning, right before this meeting. Mark brought his beginning of a proposal that he's run by the BGA members, and the subcommittee was in full attendance with Tom, Giuliano, Eileen, myself, and Mark.
Mhm.
Do you want to
Yep.
take it from there?
Yeah, the concept is in its infancy. None of this is to scale, none of it is correct. It's just the idea. The idea would be a rectangular pool with an archway at center that
Oh.
the fountain centered under.
Hmm.
This is not proportionally, again, correct.
Okay, so this is this.
That's
kinda.
looking from the street
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
That's from the side of it.
yeah,
It flows all the way down to the end towards Caddo and then drops down a level. It's a zero gravity type effect. Figuring that the reclamation and recycling of the water would happen down at that end somewhere. The monument that is there as a war memorial right now
yeah,
would be replaced at the end of this with probably a curved bench where the flagpole would be moved to, and you would be able to see the flagpole through the archway and then make your way down to
and through the archway, you would be looking at the fountain.
the fountain
fountain
centers right underneath the fountain,
Nice.
halfway down through it. The archways would have to be constructed in three pieces to be structurally sound, have to be engineered. It's a pretty technical thing to do. We know we can get it done. The manufacturers are in support of the idea. The manufacturers are interested in providing the work. So it's an idea. I mean, I kind of had the idea myself and then kind of ran it by a bunch of other people. So it's a starting point. It doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's a place to start. The main thing is I think the BGA members are really wanting to be involved with producing it. Obviously, we're gonna do it in Barre granite. And I think there will be a tremendous amount of pride within the manufacturing community to do something really nice and special for Hope. So the idea is just an infancy thing, but it might be a starting point.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Cause I have a few, but I'd like to. Anybody got any questions they wanna ask? I'll start. Okay, so as far as the cost of this, would the BGA got people that are involved in it? Would they be doing this at cost? Or how has that, and if no answer has been determined, I'm fine with that too, but
I think what you're gonna get
yeah,
is the community sentiment that let's give this the maximum amount of discount.
okay.
It's not anything I don't think we're trying to make a killing on for
Okay.
sure,
Mhm.
but we gotta cover our expenses.
Yeah, okay, that,
Um,
yeah,
That kind of thing. The other thing I should mention is all the perimeter is at bench height, so there's room to
Just sit.
seat hundreds of people around us.
Oh, I love that idea.
And the whole thing is about that, to be able to sit there and enjoy the fountain and the idea that you look through it and see the cemetery, not a wall of granite.
Yeah,
We thought that's important.
yeah.
So, yeah, but you know, there's a lot of manufacturers that are very,
Excited.
yeah, they're excited and very in favor of doing this, because it's been a long time since a public project has happened around granite. You know, it's been
Yeah,
a number of years.
yeah. Do you have any questions about it? You probably do.
More, I mean, I absolutely believe that our manufacturers can fabricate anything.
Yeah.
So in terms of the design, like you mentioned, okay, it's got to be in three pieces. Is there a fountain designer? Would the manufacturer say, look, you know, we know what we want for a design, we know what we want it to look like, but we gave it to a fountain designer so that they could sort of bless it, or they may say, this aspect is gonna be a problem.
How it will happen is, we spent a number of minutes discussing this before laying it out. Heather and Juliana had thought about moving the lot over a little bit to be square on with, and have the arch square on with the entryway,
Oh.
which is a possibility.
Okay.
The whole thing is gonna be determined by the footprint. What is the footprint of where the arch is gonna go to? Where is it, like the end and the beginning of the rainbow? Where's that gonna be? So when you determine that, and you have your lot in place and everything, then you determine the height of what that arch will be and how it will look. Because the vision of the arch is that it's going to be something that probably tapers and is thinner at top than it is at the bottom, and it'll be softened. It won't be something angular. It'll be something that really looks, I think, soft and it's something that is more difficult to produce, but it's gonna look very nice. Coming up with that dimension will determine the entire project. That dimension has to be set in stone, and that's where we need an engineer involved, like you had discussed before, from the front end at that point. Then you're gonna determine the parameter of what the arch becomes. The arch determines the height of the fountain that you would like to see. And that's when you get in the fountain company, because all they really are about, I've talked to them personally, they're not about the arch, they're about the fountain. And you just gotta tell them how high you want the fountain, how wide you want the spray.
Gotcha.
And they'll do all of that, but they won't be anything to do with the granite of this. They are just about the fountain.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I think it has,
You know, to have. We were talking about this before the meeting, about how, and I talk to people about this a lot, how our manufacturers feel about the industry. You know, they have a passion for it. They have a real passion. Everybody involved in our granite industry has a passion for what they do. Unfortunately, in other areas of the country, they have a passion for margins. They don't have a lot of history. You know, they import a lot of stones. They don't have a passion. And I don't know how many of you, I know, Mark, you spoke to Gene a little bit, Gene Cozy. You know, I knew Gene very well. And he had a real passion for our industry. Even though he was never directly involved with it,
Was
never
his
carved a
dad?
stone, never, his dad was, yeah.
Yeah.
His dad and his uncle were. But he had, and not only, but everything it meant to him growing up, which is why his mausoleum looks the way it does. Cause he, that was kind of the house he grew up in on the North End. And like he told me, those were the best times of my life. And so I think honestly, and I know this is a bit of a cliche, but I think if Gene were here, I think he'd be pretty pleased
I think you
that it was our industry fabricating this fountain, because that was really the only thing he asked for. We have pretty broad discretion at the city in terms of where we can spend the Hope Cemetery money, where we can spend the money that he left the city. He left us this pretty broad discretion and didn't really ask for a lot. But one of the few things I know he asked, well, he did ask for it in his trust, was a fountain. So I'm all about doing something locally, and I'm all about doing something really substantial. And you're all gonna be proud that that we all had a, bit part in this.
And obviously on the roadside of this fountain, somewhere appropriate.
Yeah.
Would be a dedication to
Yeah.
Eugene Cozy, obviously.
Yeah.
So you need an engineer. Do you have anybody have a firm in
I think
mind?
you had a couple of firms that you had talked about earlier, which are fine,
Okay,
but we should,
we need a contract.
we need to possibly just, the committee might want to go up there and take a look
Okay,
Do
on
a site
site,
visit.
Okay.
to look at those situations like straight through or jostled over a little bit. Kind of get our mind made up on that. Then we get into engineering,
okay.
because there's a lot of grading issues that has a change in slope.
Mark, do you think that, moving forward from this meeting anyway, inclusive of some sort of site assessment? Seeing that we're not hearing a lot of opposition to this archway design,
Mhm.
would you be willing to get your design team to come up with something to scale, a little more specific?
Well, as soon
That
as we
isn't like,
gotta have that left to right.
gotta have that first.
We need to decide that.
When do we wanna have the site meeting?
Do we want the whole cemetery committee to do that, or do we wanna just leave it up to the subcommittee?
I would like to be present, so, and I don't know, what other people that aren't on.
I just warn a meeting and let everybody know they're welcome. And
Okay.
you'd have to warn a meeting, that way if everybody shows up and you got
Okay,
a
you mean
quorum,
more the site?
you're
meeting?
okay. Yeah, just warn the site meeting.
Okay.
And if people let the committee take the lead on it,
Yeah,
but that way, if a quorum shows up, nobody can say you violated the open meeting law.
okay.
How much is it going to have to be moved, Mark, to make it a straight
I'm
shot?
not sure. That's why we'd have to go up and look
I'm
at
gonna
it.
look at it, so I guess the thing would be,
Cause there are graves
Mhm.
on both sides.
We looked at the map this morning, trying to see if maybe we could move the site of the fountain over, or just actually, Juliana suggested just ever so slightly turning it, so when you go through the entrance, you're looking directly at the fountain,
Oh,
rather than from the road.
rather than from the road, and so that we're not butting up against.
The graves.
graves on it.
Yeah,
Grave
because
fence.
we might run into some.
The
problems.
driveway, as you go through the entryway,
Yeah.
and it makes that right-hand turn.
Mhm.
We talked about cutting off some of that inside of that to
Oh,
Yeah.
guide it a little bit.
Yeah.
to
the driveway would still be there, but narrower. Is it?
Actually, the inside will be a little wider and then the outside will come in a little.
Oh, okay.
I think that kind of, the idea they talked about was that around this is either flagstone or pavers or something, to give you walking space.
Base.
And that would widen out where that tar exists.
Mhm.
So people would have a walking path through that, but it wouldn't be a driving
Oh,
way.
okay.
So that's gotta be talked out
Mm,
and planned
Mm-hmm,
all out because it's gonna change it a little bit.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you move it, if you don't
Right.
move it, it doesn't change at all.
Right,
So that's what needs to be decided.
yeah,
And that, and again, once you decide left, right, what you're playing with real estate, then we can come up with much better than what we have already.
okay, yeah.
Come up with exact.
Okay, so I think the sooner we do the site meeting, the better. So do we want to try to set a time? I could send out an email and say, do we want to throw? I mean, I could go up after this meeting, but
I
it's not
cannot.
good because you guys, okay, so that being said, like, do we want to try to find a time? Do you want me to send out an email to get some times from people to? Oh, I could say,
I'm cooked this week.
You're
Next
cooked.
Yeah, I was
week,
gonna
I'm-
say this week.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay. so if I try this, if I send out an email that gives two possible times, then maybe I could get some consensus
For next week.
for next week, yes. Yeah, and just is there days that are better than other days next week?
Beginning of the week.
Beginning of the week is better, okay. All right, okay, fine. I will try to, please respond to the email. That's the only thing I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna send the emails out. If you don't respond, then you're not gonna be part of you'll be knowing, don't get me wrong. But you will have been informed, okay? And I will warn it, I
Yep,
guess, once I
perfect.
know, as soon as I can.
How long, 5 days?
Depends what kind of meeting you want.
I think you can do 40, I think you can do 48 hours for
Yeah.
a special meeting, yeah.
And does that not include Saturdays and Sundays probably, right? Is it just business days?
I think that would probably be
It's, a day is a day.
Okay,
So, Mark, would you need, like a civil, probably not for this meeting, but at
No.
some point, it sounds like you're gonna need a civil engineer to really
Well, as we-
pinpoint
we
where
discussed,
everything
we-
is.
We need basically a general contractor, an engineering firm to oversee the whole thing.
Yeah, we came up with a short list of
Okay.
local companies that,
Super.
They could
That's
be
where, they will discuss it on the front end. If the plan makes sense, whatever we think makes sense, they'll validate that, then they can draw it professionally. And they can talk about, there are significant changes in slope, and to me, it works really good for dropping to that shorter pool at the end because it slopes at the end.
Mhm.
But they would come up with that plan and all the elevations that we would need to have created.
okay.
Here, I'll give these back, that way,
And once we
that
get,
way no one can say I leaked them.
once we get that far, you're gonna need a contract and we're gonna need to go to city council. Because we're gonna need money for the contract for the
Yeah.
engineers, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when we get there, I guess we'll figure that piece out too.
Yeah, and I'd say probably your best point of contact for that star would be Carol Dawes,
Oh, okay,
the treasurer.
okay,
Cause it's gonna be pretty simple. I mean, Carol's gonna say, yes, this is well within the purview of the cozy fund. This is what consistent with what we've all discussed, and
okay,
here's the contract.
okay, that's good. Okay, so,
I think the other thing to note is that in the discussions that we had, everybody knows the generosity of Eugene.
yeah,
The idea is not to run through all the money.
right,
Let's keep the
You
thing,
won't let-
let's keep the thing reasonable, something that we're all proud of.
Right,
But we're gonna all do our best to contain the costs.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I guess I always assume that too. And then when we get further down the road, there'll be more visits to the council, right? Cause once you decide on the design, once we decide on the design, we're gonna have to take that to the council. The council's going to have to approve the design, right?
correct.
So there's all of that.
Yeah.
The piece, which is,
That's why I said, you give that to Carol
yeah,
and she'll draft up the memo for you.
okay,
And yeah, it'll be fine.
okay. Okay, so,
Junk folks.
Okay.
Thing.
okay,
Awesome.
thank you for
Great
coming.
work.
Come next time.
I'll come next
Okay,
time.
thank you. Appreciate that.
I promised you that.
Yes,
I
thank
said,
you.
here I am.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, thank you.
thank you.
Enjoy the day.
See you later. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. Bus signs. Is the bus signs up?
No, between us being short-staffed up there and public works being extremely short-staffed. They're so short-staffed, they had to cut a whole work crew out.
Yeah, I know they're doing a bunch of stuff. Well, let's ask the resident expert here. What's the drop dead date for a bus sign? I guess it doesn't make any difference. The bus gets stuck, the bus gets stuck. But if you didn't have the bus get stuck, what's the drop dead date?
Well, how many buses have been stuck in the past 5 years? 2? So the chances are,
Slim to none?
yeah,
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
one last year,
one last year and then there was one before that.
so it's,
So the chances are, no, buses won't go down that way.
Okay. You're not gonna knock
But
on your
people are
head or
gonna
anything.
start, I mean,
Yeah.
now's the time.
I was
They're gonna start.
discussing with Public Works, I was saying September. That's probably
Definitely, September, it should be before September, cause that's,
They
the big
start
push.
coming
they
when
start coming.
foliage, that's when they
Mid-September.
really start coming, is
Yeah.
foliage.
It's the end of September then, isn't it? Mid to end.
Mid-ish,
Okay, yeah, I know everybody's shorthanded. They're doing a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Okay, all right. The Zan Leone Bench relocation. There's really not too much to report on this. I'm still trying to get a hold of family. But I will say somewhat of a precedent's been set by, I think what you did, Juliana, which is not a bad thing, is that if there's some kind of oh, you never answered my question. Who did carve that Zan Leone bench?
We did.
Okay, so is that a particular person or just?
Well, it's all done on CNC.
Okay, well, I mean, moving forward, if there's pieces of granite, pieces of art that similar, I think, in concept to what Giuliano's doing, if we can figure out how to get that off of Main Street.
Did you talk to the Calcanis?
Yes, I've been talking to the California. They are 100% in favor of
And
this.
they're the
Yes.
where the rubber meets the road on that.
Right. Before, when you weren't here though, quickly, we had a lot of discussion about what they would have to do it. And now, given what you're doing, which I think,
Well, I don't think that I set the precedent. I think
you think the precedent was already set?
yes.
Oh, well, then that's good to know, because I didn't get that impression at the meeting, and nothing that you said. I didn't get that impression at the meeting. I thought, they were gonna have to pay for the lot and all these other things, which I see now conceptually, what they decided to do is great, and I just see it on a broader, if
Well,
there's,
the Spanish influenza, that's
yeah,
that's a bench that would needed a spot and
found a spot,
yeah, that's it right there. That's the,
yeah.
And he paid the full price.
He did the whole full price for that.
Yes.
Well, see,
Yes.
did he go before the city, he should have gone before the city council. See,
No.
that's what I mean.
I don't think he did.
It isn't much now. I don't know. They should have gone before. So, but I'm happy about it. I think going forward, the Calcanis are already, actually Joey's the contact and they're on board with it. How fast anything will happen or if it does. Okay, so moving ahead, people gotta go, round table. Anybody got any new business they want to talk about?
I wanted to just make sure that, Tom, you saw the email from Pamela Wilson, who had, any concerns about grub control in Elmwood because of the community gardens there, but her suggestions for replacements of the burning bush and hope with, something that does well in this climate. I think it was dated the 29th.
Don't remember it.
Star
I think
forwarded it
she's-
to you. I can pass it along to you again, but she had some good suggestions and left her phone number if you wanted to reach out to her
Okay.
for native plants and replacement.
And
Shrubs.
what was her name again?
Pamela
Wilson.
Wilson.
I also wrote her back and said,
Mhm.
did I copy on that? And said,
Yep.
if she wants to do a walk around, cause the community garden in True Green. For next year, and I said, yeah, we don't have any problem with that. We can figure out where the community.
Yep.
garden is.
I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of it, and that we were listening to people in our community who are bringing up
She's
concerns.
also on, I don't know, Save the Cow Pastures, or she's on the garden committee. Okay, so. Anybody else got new they want to talk about? Taylor, you got anything?
Not yet.
We already talked about the director's monthly report and we're gonna come up with something that's a bullet. Not gonna take you forever, just to more feel like we're. Know what's going on. I'll do that. I'll figure out. Maybe you can help me, Eileen, remember that. And one last thing, the veterans thing at Elmwood. Oh, I have two things, actually. Veterans thing at Elmwood is moving forward. I'm getting a compendious report from, I guess, well, he's a veteran, Errol Briggs, about the stuff that needs, there's 335 veterans, sorry, Tucker, buried in Elmwood, a lot of them in disrepair, and we're coming up with a list, 4 categories, cleaning, all these different things, but this is gonna be funded with any luck at all by the Veterans 5K. So we're putting this together. We're gonna figure out where these stones are, so we don't clean them with our cleaning program, because they're going to get cleaned with money from the veterans. So that's a little bit of coordination there, but that's fine. We'll handle that. And the other thing was, I thought that the Abbey family contribution to Elmwood was gonna be done, but I did get an email from the sister again. The brother's still alive, which is great news. He was having some health problems. She's gonna come up, and I think Tom's got some ideas and I've got some ideas about contractors that we could potentially suggest to them for them to pick one. This is their thing, right? They gotta pick one, and looking at some idea to continue in Elmwood, which could be quite a lot of money that they're willing to give us. So we're in the initial stages of that. The sister's gonna come up probably in the next month. So that's that. So, anything else, folks? No? Okay, I think the next meeting is August 17th. I will send out an email sooner than later about times for on-site.
I will not be here
Oh,
on the 17th. I will be in Idaho Falls.
okay.
Wow.
All right. Will you send someone in your stead, or should we?
Someone will be up to run the computer.
All right.
And
Okay. Dainty
You wanna think
meeting.
about rescheduling the
I don't know,
meeting?
it's kind of hard to do that, I think. Chris Kirby, yeah, because it's a publicly published thing. I guess I can look into that, but at this point, that's the meeting, so, but we'll figure that out. So you're gone that whole week?
I come back I'll be back to work on the 20th. That's
Okay,
that Friday.
okay.
And
Well,
I'm
all right.
leaving on the 5th and I'm back on the 20th.
Oh, that sounds like a good vacation. Maybe that's what it is. Good. All righty, I'll take like motion to adjourn. Please.
I move to adjourn.
A second.
Thank you. All right, we are adjourned. Okay, I gotta figure that out, Jen.
If you want this
Good
back
job.
No, you can have it if you want. I don't care.
there. Okay.